We all arrive back at the war table, taking sighs of relief. Domic's speech was great. No, it wasn't. It helped the rebels find hope again. By 5%. But they need more than words to win an upcoming battle.
So, we need to find a new army. But recruiting Mazaeans would take far too long. We need to take drastic measures and fast.
We need to start birthing new babies and just conscripting them immediately.
This is where my initial plan comes into play. We can use that spiritual energy to create seers. They could see the outcome of every battle, every attack.
We're gonna just start making new seers now?
That doesn't make any sense, Domic. Visions lied to the king, led us into a trap. The Triumvirate could just do that all over again.
What? I notice he uses my new title. Feels odd, but turns me on.
I'm not sure that's how it works. Beforehand, the visions came from their prison. That means the Triumvirate could tamper with the outflow. But now, all of that is in the hands of the king. There's nothing more getting in the way, see what I mean? The power of the spirit realm is now ours to wield, Ulrich.
That still doesn't make any sense. The spirit realm isn't what we thought it was, Domic. It was just a prison. How can that help us tell the future?
Before Domic can respond, Salos steps forward.
That was our culture. We all had this ability. It is how the monarchy lived in peace and prosperity. There was no danger left unchecked. No chance. The world was being guided to the one true future. It is not unlike the concept of fate that some believe in, but it is tangible. We knew where we were going. Always. That is why the Triumvirate was such a shock to us. An unknown variable in a future we completely mapped out. It was too late to adapt. We were already shackled. We slowly learned to lend our foresight to your world. However, we were only strong enough to help one individual. This is the concept you have learned to call the seer or seeress. Domic's theory is sound. There is no longer any interference. The source of this power is now the king, rather than a prison. He can freely give this power to any individual he pleases.
Can he give it to himself?
We would not recommend this course of action. Every vision he induces would reduce his overall strength. It would whittle away at the monarchy, slowly killing us all. Furthermore, he does not know how to ration this power. He could end up expending almost all of it with a single vision. We would recommend giving a small portion of power to others. However, they would be rendered useless after this war. Using this power would be too much for their mind.
Useless?
They would be unable to think for themselves, or at all. The king could only do this because he grew up with that power. Just like our culture. To receive it too late can wreak havoc on the mind.
So they'd just sit around until they died?
Unless you fed them.
Jesus.
There must be another way. Just look in front of you. That energy could be used to bring back the forces we lost. We could create more vessels for the monarchy. More soldiers.
Ulrich was right. There was more than one choice here. It wouldn't be right to condemn our people to a zombie-like existence. If their minds died out after the war, they'd have no victory to enjoy.
We would not advise this action. We can barely maintain this form. The wounds that ended Salus are burning, as if freshly inflicted. It is only tolerable because of the immense power within us. Lesser beings would be feeling eternal pain, and death does not come easily to a vessel like this. Wounds endured during the war would add to this pain. We would not wish this punishment upon anybody. Life in eternal pain, a constant memory of their own death. They perished for your cause. Give them the rest they deserve.
I don't know. An army of seers would be great for strategizing, but stealing their own future from them? That's wrong. On the other hand, bringing back the dead? I'm unsure.
The pain would fuel their rage and make them stronger. They could eventually learn to manage it with medicine. At least they'd have a future. The seers certainly wouldn't.
There must be something else we can do.
Not if you wish to make use of this power. It is powerful when used, but limited in scope. I will help the king carry out whichever he decides.
Right, I guess it's not my place to choose. Sorry, I must be still adjusting to this change.
Suddenly, all eyes are upon me. I have no idea what to say or do. Eternal pain or robbing futures? Creating seers would ruin their mind after the war. They just sit in a chair while we fed them to remain alive, but an army of vessels? They'd feel nothing but excruciating pain, and not even death would come to free them from that pain. The body could get ravaged, but the power would still be inside. Only were it possible to cure them of this pain after the war was over. Or for that matter, if it were possible to preserve the seers' minds, but neither option has a foreseeable cure. This was a choice involving the war. We needed an immediate boost in forces, and it seemed that no cost was too high. What should I do? Good lord. Well, let's ask Valessa.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I really can't help you this time.
Fortame?
You're asking too much of me. Sorry. This isn't something I could possibly decide.
Wow. Schmucks. Final choice. Jesus. Yeah, definitely save the game here. Got a comment from Mothra. Theoretically, an undead army would be super cool, but the explicit mention of them living in eternal torment make it a no-go for me. Yeah. I want to cause pain to the undead, I say. Go the opposite direction of that. Option 1 would win the war, but those guys are dead. Option 2 would win the war, but your loved ones are forever in pain and can never move on or enjoy life. Otherwise, they're basically going to be zombies. Might as well not make it painful. Always go with the one that causes less pain in the end. Oh, Sunrising22 is subscribed. Is that a Twitch subscription? Inagami the Hound. Ah! We paused the timer at 6 minutes. And everyone's saying that the less painful option is option 1. To create an army of seers. Ow. An army of seers would be the most useful. With foresight, they could dodge every attack. That would be essential when we attack Balteus. They could help us strategize as well. But the true use would come on the battlefield. Calling out attacks and preventing ambushes. I make my choice known to my allies. I'm met with uncertain gazes, as I expected. There was no right choice in this situation.
Very well.
So, there we have it. What happens next?
I will take the king to the idol and help. After that, we must all convene in this war room. A strategy is required for this newfound army.
They all nod and step closer to the table. I follow Salus out of the room to carry out my duty. As we leave, I can hear them planning, and I feel hopeful. Hey, 5% raise in morale. We will turn this defeat into a most profound victory. Under my leadership, we will witness the triumvirate fall. Fade out, fade out. Pause the fucking timer, because we got $4.99 from Mike the Argon. Says, shut up and take my money. Cute. Thank you, Mike. I follow Salus back into the room with the spirit idol. It's dark and dim. With its death, the monarchy was imprisoned no more. However, existing within vessels and the blade, was that considered freedom? I wonder what happened to the monarchy after this war. Their bodies are likely long gone. What would become of them? What if there's a way to reverse everything the Triumvirate has done? Well, there's no time to think about that. It's time to create our army. Much to our luck, before we began, Milas arrived at the Rebel HQ. Alongside him was a massive amount of people from Valonorth. His evacuation was successful. This meant far more soldiers. And it also meant a large number of volunteers. Knowing the importance of being a seer, they wanted to help. I suppose it was only fitting that they kept this tradition within Valonorth. But part of me felt bad. I was doing this to my own people. They were made aware of the repercussions, but still agreed. That made me feel a bit better, but didn't relieve me of the guilt. It was just like I thought. The blade is an extension of the wielder's mind. Salus told me how to wield it, and I rested the blade on the volunteers. Almost like a knighting ceremony in the stories of old, I declared them seers. But he also told me that the effects wouldn't happen immediately. They'd need to be watched carefully for the next day or so. When the power kicked in, they could act irrationally. After that, we make our way back to the war table. I can only hope that things go as planned for our future. When we arrived, it seems like Damek already had a strategy.
Absolutely not.
Apparently he didn't.
Ulrich, we have no other choice. Our forces require more than one major boost. Going to Alarinthia, we could convert them to our side.
Uh-oh.
They don't want to be converted, they want blood. Plain and simple.
Hey! What about Vivian and her army? Wow, and when did I get a fucking army? Also, hey! We just got a $4.99 from 10 o'clock. You're just getting into this one? I have a handful of episodes from a couple of years ago. I'm just getting back to it, but thank you for the 23rd donation of this stream. All right, so from books, we can say, what about Vivian and her army? Ooh, my. That's not how I spell my Vivian, as you all can tell from my channel name. Who? I tell him about the book I read in the tavern. In Alarinthia, there's also a rebellion of sorts. A group who wants to change the way it's run.
I've never heard of this.
Apparently they follow after ancient ideals. An Alarinthian legend that wanted to change the nation. So far, it seems like none have been strong enough to do so.
It's because strength always wins. Plain and simple. And with strength and power, they don't want anything to change. They only want to secure their own rule. Alarinthia is always the same.
Well, the mainland has never reached out before, right? If we team up with them, yourself included, we could win. If that's not possible, then maybe we can cut a deal with Draku.
Draku? He wants nothing more than to flex his power. He may rule over Alarinthia, but he's no ruler. Trust me.
Well, I think we have a good opportunity for him, actually. What better way to show strength than to dethrone gods? There's a couple of avenues to take here. We need to do this.
Excuse my lack of enthusiasm, Damek. I think there are more pressing matters at hand. We still need to decide what to do with him.
With him? Tilts his head towards Salus, who shakes his own head in return.
We require no maintenance. We simply wish to fight and teach. Our legacy demands to be passed on.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. I don't think there's anything we can do. He won't be of any harm to us, right?
That's what we thought about the honor guard. Are you really going to gamble on the spirits again? What if there's a chance he's just lying to us, Dominic?
That is a possibility.
We have no reason to lie, and we do not appreciate this accusation. Using the honor guard, we fortified these tunnels. It is thanks to us that you survived this ordeal. Many of our citizens were sacrificed in order to do this. Controlling the Triumvirate's forces was taxing, to say the least.
Then why did they kill almost all of us during the attack?
Our control was strong, but not strong enough. It was easy for the Grand Inquisitor to overpower us. Until today, he had never set foot in these tunnels. We do not mind answering questions, but we do mind being accused of wrongdoing. Everything we've done to help your cause.
To what end?
The Triumvirate's end.
Ulrich concedes, simply shaking his head. It seems there was a counter to all of his objections.
I think we should just trust him, Ulrich. He's answered so many of our questions. Things make more sense now, wouldn't you say?
He doesn't respond. However, Fortame steps forward.
What should we call him, though?
We do not require a name.
You might think that, but you still need one. It's out of convenience, not necessity.
Convenience?
Yeah. Nobody really needs a name. It just helps us talk to one another, you know? It's especially helpful in battle, or while strategizing.
Very well. We will think of a name.
However, before much time passes, Valessa interjects.
How?
Howl.
Huh?
That's what Dominic said, right? Driven by the howls of countless spirits. It seems fitting, given the circumstances.
You've been named.
Valessa,
We accept this moniker. However, we must discuss another matter. This strategizing you speak of, we wish to help.
That's my job, actually.
I'm the manager. I do this. I do that. You don't get to help with my job.
And look where it got you.
Oof.
What?
Your blind faith in spirits caused all of this. Our judgment will not be clouded. We wish to take your place. Remember, you are no longer in charge. This is the king's choice.
Oh, God. Oh, hey! Another $4.99 from 10 o'clock. Pause the clock. Hope you have a great night. Got a dip now. Decided to just drop in and see what's up. Well, thank you very much for dropping in. Yeah, as Nice Night says, don't you dare make us choose. Howell turns to face me.
We wish to be your advisor, Monarch. We've watched this world for almost an eternity. We know how the enemy works and thinks. It would be the wisest course of action. Dominic is responsible for this catastrophe. He would be unfit to give you advice in the future.
How is Dominic responsible for this catastrophe? This fucking... I almost keep calling him Spencer, but it's not. It's Shane is responsible for this catastrophe.
That is absolutely untrue. In this world, we learn from our mistakes, Howell. We don't condemn others based on bad decisions.
Perhaps that is why you are easily oppressed. There is no room for error in these final days. Perhaps in the future, you can atone for this.
I can tell they're about to get locked in a heated argument. You can tell by the way that they're talking with almost no emotion in their voice. To avoid this, I slam my hand down on the ward table, startling them. A loud echo reverberates through the room as I assert my authority. Oh God, you guys, really? They're making me choose? So, Nice Night, was that you saying don't make the audience, don't bring this to the chat? Ooh, Snakestone, you have played this game before. I don't want spoilers. At the same time, I don't want to be wrong. What if Puppy died because he sent an idiot to do a dumb mission? The idiot, like, got emotionally manipulated by something that shouldn't have happened in the first place, and that's the reason that he died. So it really had nothing to do with the dumb mission. So it's like nice night. One's the obvious practical answer, and the other's sentimental. I'd personally go with the emotional over practical value. I'd choose Dominic. I'm gonna feel bad for Dominic because I feel like everyone in there is gonna have like a cult of personality behind Dominic, and then all of a sudden I come in and I demote the fuck out of him. Everyone's gonna be like, what the fuck? Snakestone says he chose Dominic on the condition he learns from his mistakes. We don't have any experience with Howell to know whether he does that or not. We just know he scoffed at that idea. Why can't they both be our advisor? Like, what the fuck? Who gives a fuck who's the main person in charge here? They both have shit to contribute to the conversation. This decision shouldn't be a thing. Yeah, I can only have one advisor because that's what the plot says. It feels shitty not picking Dominic. It feels like we're demoting him really big for one mistake. Something that he really shouldn't be being blamed for in the first place. Do you trust the new guy? I want to pick Dominic. Because at the end of the day, this is a stupid fuck decision in the first place. In no real war room would it be a fucking problem. And one decision shouldn't make him go down this ladder this badly. This new guy, we have no experience with him in terms of a strategist. He should be able to still contribute knowledge. Dominic holds a lot of sway on the morale of the troops. I'm just going with Dominic. Past or present, the achievement's been unlocked. Let them know that I want Dominic to be my advisor. I agree with everything he'd said. I still don't really know how. Being an advisor required both knowledge and teamwork.
Very well.
You gonna talk to your king like that? You mad at me, man.
Thank you.
But don't be shitty about it, Dominic. Listen to him when if he's got shit to say. Is what I would say. Still stared at each other with evil eyes. I could tell that animosity was growing between them. However, this was neither the time or the place for that.
Those matters aside, we still need to make our next move. There's an upcoming ball in Alarinthia. It's held annually. The palace is open for a few days only. We can go. It's likely that Vivian will make a move against Dracu. If she does, we can use that as an opportunity to form an alliance. If she doesn't, then we can seek out an audience with Dracu. Either side would have a wealth of forces to offer. We need their aid if we're going to win the final battle. I'll get the boats ready. We can leave tomorrow morning.
Yow! Yow is following! Thank you, Yow! Freaking Yow is following! Oh, hell yeah, it's Yow. You got that right! Final State 2 is also following! Fuck yeah!
I'm sure Alex will be able to give us a capable ship. If we're going to make this ball, we need the best of the best. Ships were part of our terms, so I'm sure he'll be able to comply.
He gathers up some papers and starts to walk away.
Meet back here in the morning, all of you. We can go over any last-minute stuff before we leave. The rest, we'll have plenty of time to discuss on the voyage.
We'll nod at one another before leaving the room. I'm thankful that I'd be able to get some sleep, however little. I make my way back to my room, constantly checking my bag. Troop morale has risen by 5% once again. They'd never catch us off guard again. Next time we fought, it would be their end. Howell, Rage of the Monarchy has achievement unlocked. Howell has permanently joined your party. Nice. Looked like that's what they were doing. I enter my room and let out a loud sigh. I can finally relax. Shorter my rest would be, it was better than getting no rest at all. I noticed I was followed, but I expected as much after what happened. It was Howell. He approaches slowly with resolve in his steps. However, he doesn't seem angry in any way. That was good, since I sided with Damek.
We must express displeasure at your decision. Damek made a mistake and remains unpunished. The lives that were lost beg for justice. We are that justice.
I do recall us being made your monarch, so I don't remember where you get the fucking gall to getting the permission to express the goddamn breakfast order, but okay. Damek was only believing in the spirits, like we all do. Now that we know the truth, we will approach things differently. He would never intentionally lead us into danger. He's honorable.
Honor?
Crosses his arms, unimpressed.
Honor is a term used to stay the hand in difficult situations, Monarch. When the final drop of blood must be spilled, and your honor stops you, what then? Is the future of our world on the shoulders of those so weak?
Hey, Howell, 50 push-ups for your king, you jackass. He scoffs.
Do not concern yourself with honor. The enemy does not, and this is why they win. Concern yourself with the correct actions, not the right ones.
Concern yourself with the correct actions, not the right ones. You know, there's you're speaking with gobbledygook, and then there's literally ignoring that you just said a synonym. You fucking flick you on the nose, you fucking idiot.
That is all the advice we have for you today, Monarch. But we do not trust Damek to make the right decisions in the future. The fact that he left the honor guard alive is proof of that. He hesitates.
You know, I literally said I don't want you as my advisor, so you following me back to my room to give me unsolicited advice is kind of not the fucking thing I asked you to do, you fucking moron!
This hesitation will not go away simply because he knows what we are. The truth of the spirit realm does not change strategy on the war table. With that said, we will leave you be. Ruminate on this in the future, my king.
Gives me a slight bow, a sign of respect before leaving. Yeah, it's more of a sign of indigestion, if anything. Being the Exodus wielder was intense enough. Being a monarch? Thankfully, I had the support of my friends. They would keep me strong. Lay down on my bed, and it isn't much longer till I drift off to sleep. When I wake up, rested and refreshed, I head to the war room. Everyone is there as expected. It's time to get things moving. YMCA. The war room. 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 Damek approaches the war table, fiddling with the wooden figures resting on top of it. They represent different things. The figure for the rebellion he places on Alarinthia. Our next objective was clear. We'd be sailing to the Far East to secure an alliance.
Each year, Dracu holds a ball. Essentially, it's to show off his power. It's open to the public, which means Vivian will likely make a move. I'd say it's either an assassination attempt or a tournament request. During the ball, we will meet with both of them. Our goal is to secure an Alarinthian army to help us out. If we do this, our chance of success will increase tenfold. Each party, if they're willing, will likely request something in return. It may be impossible to avoid being caught up in Alarinthian politics. If it comes to anything extreme, we will have Ulrich help us out. I trust there are no objections?
Smarmy fuck. Nobody raises a concern, but I can tell Ulrich is upset.
We will set sail immediately after this meeting. I've already arranged transportation with our pirate allies. It's a 24-hour voyage, so pack your essentials. Food and drink have already been pre-packed. None of us should go hungry or thirsty during the trip, and there are enough beds for us all to sleep too. The voyage will be a nice time to get some relaxation in. However, once we get to Alarinthia, we have to be serious. Our success directly affects our odds of surviving this war. We've ensured that our comrades received a proper burial. They're resting with the spirit idol, and we'll close off that passage. For their sake, please leave it undisturbed. They deserve rest.
He inspects a piece of paper in his hand before continuing.
The volunteers from Valinor are starting to have visions. They will accompany us to Alarinthia and help our cause. Thankfully, there were no side effects or losses. We have our army of seers, Monarch. Hopefully, you'll get to meet them soon.
Hey, we got people hallucinating all over this bitch.
With all of that said, I think it's time to end this meeting. Are there any questions before we head to the shipyard? Remember, once we leave, we may not be back for a while.
Fortame steps forward.
What exactly happens at this ball?
Dancing. Sex. Alcohol.
I'm not sure. Dancing and feasting, I'd imagine. Drake wants to pamper everybody he can. That's his goal. If his people are happy, then there's less fighting over the throne.
So basically one big party, then.
Correct.
Awesome. The last party we were ever going to have was cancelled. Let's say we finally have your induction ceremony, eh, seer? Except now it's not for being a seer. It's for being a king.
We all nod at each other. It's true, my last ceremony was cancelled. It was Drake's party, but we could celebrate it for our own reasons.
Just try not to draw attention to yourselves, all right? It may be a party, but Alarinthia's fate will change behind the scenes. Remember why we're there, and don't lose sight of our original goal.
Of course.
Fortame steps back, satisfied.
Why didn't Vivian make a move at any of the other parties? I guess I mean to ask, what makes this year special? What if we go there and she ends up doing nothing?
You know, which Yay, there we go! There we go! Pause the counter! Yao just subscribed with the Prime account? Hell yeah! Nice! Thank you, Yao!
If that happens, then we focus on Draku. At the end of the day, we still have an option. We're just planning for many possible scenarios.
All right.
Valessa nods, her curiosity sated. There's a brief silence, and no further questions.
Very well. Dismissed. Let's pack our things and meet at the docks. We'll set sail in 3 hours, so don't be late.
With that said, almost everybody rushes out of the room. Except for Howell. He stays behind and eyes me down. Before I get ready to leave, I ask him what he wants.
We've been given a room in the crew quarters. Please stop by and see us before you leave. It is important for us to learn more about you.
Is that the same voice actor from Grizz? Because Grizz can get written off out of the story at this point, and so they wanted Grizz's voice actor to have more lines, because it sounds eerily like the Grizz. He bows to me before leaving.
Until then, Your Highness.
He was definitely taking this monarch thing seriously, except for when he feels the need to voice how much he doesn't like whatever it is we're doing. But given his culture and the power within me, it makes sense. I take one last look at the war table before heading out. The war table is used to track your relationships with each character. The amount of hearts indicates how many heart-to-hearts you have completed. When a character's heart gauge reaches 4, you can click them to access a special scene. These scenes are required to earn each character's loyalty. The loyalty of your followers affects both morale and their fate. Do not neglect heart-to-heart conversations, or these loyalty scenes. When you wish to depart for Alarinthia, return to the Museo docks. A new map icon will display by the ship at the front of the shipyard. Alright, time to see what's going on with Sovi. Sovi and his crew quickly make their way back to the docks because they said it. Sovi just disappeared, even though Sovi's not the kind of person that you see get away. Even though it literally makes no sense how he could have gotten out of there. It was a one-way tunnel. He went out this way, they were coming in this way. How could he have gotten out? It makes no sense how he could have gotten out. You just don't see him, kind of person like that, get away. Oh, I guess that makes sense. So fucking dumb, this. Sovi and his crew make their way to the docks. Hiding in the alleyway, much like before, they gather their bearings. Because alleys are just impeccably under-searched. Especially at docks, where people are always looking for extra storage for places. Things hadn't gone according to plan. Their true mission was a failure.
What happened, Sovi? I thought you had everything under control. Get in, kill the seer, and destroy the idol.
It's not that simple, Halen. I tried my best, and it wasn't a total failure. We've dealt them a blow from which they'll never recover.
And you think the Triumvirate will be okay with that? They don't tolerate failure. I'll get dragged into this too. I don't want to suffer due to your inability to succeed, Sovi. Let's not even mention the Blade of Exodus. You just let them walk away with it. I can't believe you were so foolish.
Ooh.
Don't worry. We'll get the job done. They'll be happy enough with Damek out of the picture. It'll buy us time while we formulate another plan, Halen.
If you're lucky enough to get another chance, you mean. You'll need a pretty good excuse to get away with this.
Sovi sighs, looking down at the ground.
I hesitated, Halen. I had him in my grasp, and I hesitated. There was something in my head saying not to kill him. The same instinct I always listen to and am praised for. That instinct has yet to let me down. I feel like he was meant to survive this battle. We'll have more chances to kill him in the future. Besides, with the condition I left him in, he'll be an easy target. Next time we cross paths, even a child could take him down. This isn't as bad as you think, Halen. Today, we won.
For your sake, I hope they buy that excuse.
No, Halen. We must never tell them the truth. Tell them the seer slipped through our grasp. I trust you to keep this silent for the time being.
You want me to lie for you now?
It's for the best. Just trust me. I would do the same for you, Halen. Together, we will acquire any lost honor.
Fine, but next time I'll watch you. If you can't finish the job, then I will. There's no place for hesitation in a time of war.
Sovi nods and Halen walks away. This leaves Sovi alone with Shane.
So, how are you feeling?
I'm fine.
Unfortunately, fucking Shane.
You look conflicted.
I said I'm fine.
Shane should be burned in a ditch.
Look, you killed Damek, Shane. I can understand what you're going through.
Oh, can you?
Yes, I did the same thing in the past. Before I joined the Triumvirate, I killed them all. Liars and cheaters deserve no less of a punishment.
He looked so sad, though. Like, how do I know what you said was true? A face can say a lot more than words ever can.
Oh, so you're only now considering the idea that the lying liar could possibly have lied about the person that you loved and followed with unabashed fucking devotion? You absolute rotten potato.
He was sad because he got caught, Shane. He thought you were dead, so he didn't expect it. You rose from the grave to deliver your vengeance.
You are a piece of absolute cum drippings.
That is an opportunity he shall never have. He didn't hesitate to send you to your death, remember? There's no reason to give him a courtesy he never gave you. Offering that olive branch is a good way to get yourself killed. There's no going back now, Shane. You're one of us. After what you did, you're their enemy. For good.
Huh?
Yes, but you are no longer an enemy of the Triumvirate. They will sing your praise and give you your every desire. The victory of our battle was all thanks to you, Shane.
I'm not sure how to feel.
Sometimes you need to act rather than react. Push those feelings aside and focus on survival. There are many rebels who will seek you out for revenge. And I expect you to show all of them the same treatment. Welcome to the Inquisition, Shane. The right side of history.
Jesus. Probably have enough time for this Howell heart-to-heart. I enter Howell's room and notice him standing with his back to me. He's in the center of the room, in the corner of the room with his hand pressed against the wall. He's mumbling to himself, and I do my best not to startle him at all.
Bodies everywhere. Screams for help. Blood flowing. Corpses held tightly in their arms. They cry for the lost. But the lost do not answer, for they have no voice. He feels shame, like he's responsible for all of this. But soon after, he feels nothing at all. Until he rises again. Vengeance controls his mind. It drives his clouded judgment. We see the future, as expected, but also the past. We see your death, Monarch, even if it didn't happen. Why does time play such tricks on our memories?
Turns to face me, so he knew I was here all along.
Are these memories, or perhaps echoes? That is what I wish to talk to you about, Monarch. Our mind is overwhelmed, but not in the usual sense.
Tell me more, I'd love to help.
We expected you to say that. We've heard it before. It's almost like you had no other choice. Interesting. Things are different now that we're free. So different. Exiting that prison has taken its toll on our minds. And there, our sight was limited, but not anymore. Instead of just the future, we see everything. We see the past, and consequences of actions not taken. The possibilities are infinite, and this is hard even to fathom. We must narrow our vision. These details are unimportant. We may not be of much use at the moment, Monarch. It will take some time to adjust to these new circumstances, if we choose to adjust, that is. Further evaluation is required.
Everything is important to consider, even if it didn't happen.
We see a past where we failed to save you, Monarch. You fell to your wounds, and Alestia had no hope at all. Domik, too. The failure of the rebellion was certain. Pirates rushed to help, but not led by the same leader. Ulrich sacrificed himself to use the blade and create an army. The monarch vessels, or perhaps the created seers. Why do you say that seeing these things is important? It is death and carnage, the loss of all hope, and ultimately, death. Only one thing remains constant in all of us, the blade of Exodus.
Learning from past failures is how we become stronger and smarter.
We saw you say this as well. It led to ruin. Our culture was always focused on avoiding the wrong future. We've never thought about seeing numerous versions of the past. But we are sure that we see these things for a reason. Perhaps there is a secret to find, or a link hidden between them all. As we travel, we will do our best to learn more about these visions. We simply wish to make you aware that they exist. It is the opposite of everything we've ever encountered. But at the end of the day, so are you. A huge anomaly.
I'm not sure what he means since he speaks so cryptically. But he's having visions of different pasts, not just the future. That would be jarring to me as well. I only ever saw the future. But it was always a future that I wanted to avoid. How could you see a different past? That was always set in stone. Let alone past so different as to detail the deaths of my comrades. There had to be a reason. He was right. But it's unlikely that we'd find an answer anytime soon. You have to put up with this burden a little bit longer.
It pains us to see visions of your death, Monarch. Future or past, it is something we wish to avoid. You carry our legacy. You are everything to us. We request some time alone, if you'd give us the honor. We will do our best to focus on more positive things.
Turns back to the wall and places his hand upon it.
Sharing an apple in a back alley, a growing bond. Alcohol brings forth childhood dreams, dreams of change. You grow close to a comrade, despite their two-faced nature. A man seeks family to replace the one he never had. There is a girl who finds the strength to succeed in her friends. We wonder where we fit in amongst this group. We hope we can.
Looks down at the floor, and I take a few steps back. For now, it's probably best to leave him be. He seems overwhelmed. In his situation, I'd be as well. He has to process a lot of new information. If I can find my place in all of this, so can he. Perhaps we'd have some more time to talk on the boat ride. I leave for the docks, confident to help him more in the future. Alright, the subathon is over! We streamed for 11 hours and 17 minutes. We have raised $341.59, which is way over our goal of $150, which was our official first goal. We streamed way more than the original 4 hours. Thank you so much for helping us pay our rent this month. And the rest will go towards paying the other bills that we need to pay this month. I am speechless. I am beyond words. I am beyond tired. Thank you so much for all of the support, for everyone. Hey, Dirk the Red Panda. Yeah, someone gifted you a Twitch sub. That was awesome. Yeah. Thank you everyone who was here, whether you donated or not, and also thank you to everyone who donated in all the different forms on PayPal, on Twitch for the subs, the super chats, everyone who did, all who were here for however long you could be here. If you just came in and said hi, everyone who shared the streams around. Y'all really made a huge difference. We were able to pay our rent this month. So thank you so much. And now, with my throat barely hanging in, I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you so much for being here. I have been the trained up professional Vivian Jade. For everyone who was here, for everyone who participated for whatever amount of time, any amount at all of anything. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone!